those Toastmasters. Where's the Toastmasters? Toastmasters. This is a presentation that I'm actually going to give this week. And it is a PowerPoint presentation, and we obviously don't have that ability. So I'm only going to give you a snippet of the presentation, not because it's an hour, so I don't have it. Self-leadership requires purpose. Do you have a sense of purpose? You must consciously be prepared to take on the demands of responsibility, accountability, initiative, goal setting, and most importantly, diagnosing yourself and your level of development. Only those who are willing to lead themselves will be able to reach peak performance, and even more importantly, tap into that discretionary effort that we all have. The first step really is to accept responsibility for your own growth and development. Now, how many of you really accept responsibility for that? If you're in a role where you have a supervisor or manager, we typically expect our manager to take responsibility for that. But really, it's your responsibility. So the key to self-leadership really is empowerment. Leadership many years ago used to mean power. Well, it doesn't mean that today. In order to master self-leadership today, it's grabbing a hold of your own destiny and then running with it. So taking responsibility and accountability for yourself. Being a self-leader is liberating, it's refreshing. I don't have to rely on someone else for my destiny. It means controlling your destiny. So in a sense, it means control. It means that you can shift from being a victim, poor me, I never had those opportunities. I never get a chance to do anything. And it shifts that role to self-determination. But before you can lead others, you have to learn how to lead yourself. As Napoleon Hill once said, if you do not conquer yourself, you will be conquered by self. Most leaders or most managers and supervisors don't wake up every morning and decide, I'm going to make everybody's day miserable. No, they don't do that. They really have well-intentioned ideas and thoughts about how to develop others, but they just really don't have the time to do that. That's why it's really important that we take responsibility for ourselves and we become self-leaders. And we learn how to do that. It's not always easy to do that. The second part of becoming a self-leader is don't resist change. Now, I don't know about you, but I hate change. I hate it with a passion. Recently, a few months ago at work, we changed systems. And it used to be relatively easy for me to submit a trip. Well, now it's complicated. I hate it. Every time I have to go in and to submit a trip, it takes me forever. So I always do what? I wait till the last minute to do it, until I ultimately have to. I don't want to change. The system was working perfectly fine for me. I was used to it. But becoming a self-leader means don't resist change. Imagine yourselves 5 years from today. Where will you be? What will you be doing? If you can create a vision for yourself, ask yourself, will you be satisfied years from today if you're doing the same thing, making the same amount of money, doing the same mundane tasks? Well, if you create a vision for yourself, you will know that you will not be happy doing the same exact thing, making the same amount of money, and not really have accomplished much. So most of us today would say, no way. Really and truly, we're all hoping for change. And that's what we really want every day in our lives. We hope that every day we learn something new, And that is change for us. People only resist change when they're not a part of the process. So if I'm not a part of making a decision, or if I'm not a part of that system where they've asked me to be a part of something, then I'm going to resist the change. But if I feel like I'm a part of the process, then I'm likely not to resist it. What I'm really saying about change is, I don't like not being in control. And none of us really like that. The benefit of being a self-leader is that you get to initiate the change for yourself. Isn't that a great thing to do? When it comes to you, you get to change yourself. You get to initiate that entire process. When it comes to life, when it comes to work, you get to initiate that change. And that is change that we all can buy into. What comes to mind when you think of power? Do you think of it as something positive? Traditionally, we don't. We think of it as something negative. Power, well, it's a negative thing. But if you think of it as something positive, what words come to mind? Anybody?
Strong.
Strong. What positive words? That's a strong. Strong is very positive. What other words can come to mind? Positive words.
Leadership.
Leadership. Development. Self-determination.
Propitious.
Capacious.
Propitious.
Propitious. Oh, that is the word of the day. Very good. Freedom, ability, influence. All of those are really great words that are very positive. And that also, those words also equate to power. Self-leadership really requires a positive approach to power. It requires all of us to redefine what that word means to us, how we're going to use it, and where it comes from. The real fact is that we all are very powerful people. In order for us to be successful, either in our lives, in our home, with our family, at work, we must acknowledge and accept the source of power that we all have within us. The best thing to think about is position power and never use it. If we have that kind of power and we don't use it, it's very powerful. I want you to go back and make a list of all the powerful things that you do at work. Consider those situations or conditions. Are you training someone? Are you the go-to person when someone has a question? Do people call upon you for various things? Are you mentoring other people? All of those things create position power. So that means we are in position power. We have power over our behavior. Then I want you to think about the characteristics that are associated with that kind of power. What are the skills that are required? And there are many things. For instance, there's task power. That means you have power that comes from excellent communication skills. Those are the people that come to you for a very specific task. And then there's knowledge power. You're the expert. You have the technical expertise. You have the people, you have the skill that when someone wants that information, they pick up the phone and call you. That's knowledge power. So you see, we all have some sense of power. Now, with self-leadership and empowerment, it comes with goal setting. How many of you have set goals for this year? Toastmaster goals. All of us in the room have Toastmaster goals. That's the reason why we're here, because we want to improve our communication skills. If you don't have goals, and if you've not written them down and committed those goals to yourself, then we don't have much to accomplish. And the only person that can cheat yourself out of your goals is you. So if your manager or supervisor is too busy or overwhelmed or just can't take the time to work with you to help create your goals, because most managers don't have the time to do that. The self-leaders, we have the opportunity to do that for ourselves. Don't wait for someone to come to you and say, what are your goals? List your goals. List your accomplishments, and go to your supervisor or manager and say, here's what I'd like to accomplish. And perhaps they can facilitate getting you there. But don't even wait for that to happen. Identify the things that you can do to help yourself become a successful leader. That requires self-determination, and that's self-leadership. Now I'm going to stop here because I have a whole hour left. Mr. Toastman.